Okay, and I'm back, and I think I have just enough for a 9-inch pie. That's what I ended up coming down with. And I had quite a few that were bruised. And these are the same Michigan peaches. This isn't the same batch. I actually went out and bought more peaches. But this would be the equivalent of the same peaches that I used for the peach slices, where I went to the farm stand and I got some more Michigan peaches. But I've noticed the Michigan peaches here in Illinois are especially if you're getting them from a farm stand, their ripening days are usually 2 days, and then if you don't use them right away and within 2 days or put them in the refrigerator, they're going to rot on you a lot faster. And that's kind of what happened with these. I bought these a few days ago, knowing that I wasn't going to do the peach pie right away, but it happens. Now, anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you guys where you famously sit, and you guys actually won't be sitting on the garbage can much longer if this camcorder that I purchased works. And again, you're not viewing this video on the camcorder, and I'm going to move you guys up this time so you can kind of see this. Of course, it would help if, well, I am going to need the sugar. Yeah, this is sugar. Always, when you're doing fresh fruit pies, if it's peach, if it's apple, if you're making a pear tart, a berry pie, always take a little sample of your fruit to see how sweet the fruit is. If the fruit is really sweet, decrease the amount of sugar you put into the pie. You don't have to use the full sugar amount. And that just keeps you healthier, especially if you live with the diabetic. These peaches are very sweet. So this one uses a 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup. So I'm just going to use the 1/2 cup. I don't think it needs the 3/4 cup. Because I think these peaches are more than enough sweet. Okay, so we're just going to do that. Put that off to the side. I'm going to actually grab you guys and bring you guys with me. I was meaning to grab the flour because you need to put flour in with your pie. And I need to be able to get to the flour. If you saw my house right now, you would roll your eyes because it's a disaster area, especially my kitchen table. You just heard everything fall off the counter, and that was more the tomato stuff, which we'll talk about later. Okay, so I'm gonna put you over here. Now, I think, as I've been babbling, I did get a much larger tripod for the video camera, and we're gonna see if that makes a better difference when it comes to doing videos. Now, I just put 2.5. I put the equivalent of 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour in with my peaches. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of mix these up. Now, this recipe says fresh lemon juice, and then it says almond extract. Well, I've never done that before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you guys with me. And I'm just going to grab my ground cinnamon. And I think this is the one that's opened. Let me check and make sure my cinnamon is opened. If not, I don't need to open cinnamon. I'm sure I got more. Yeah, this one isn't opened yet. Okay. I found the ground cinnamon just makes a good pie, whether it be peach, pumpkin, apple. So, all right. Sorry for having you guys spin so much. So I'm just going to put cinnamon in, and Those of you that watch the peach slices know that my husband is a cinnamon connoisseur. He loves things with cinnamon. So if this looks like a big amount of cinnamon to you, it's because he absolutely loves cinnamon. And I'm just gonna, I don't have a lot of peaches to play with, but I'm gonna take a small one. And that's delicious. That's good. That's plenty of cinnamon. I messed up one of my grandmother's pie plates. I'm going to put that off to the side. Now, what you're going to want to do before you roll out your crust or you put your crust in your pie thing is you're going to look at the temperature. Preheat oven 425. Okay, so and I hope everybody's weather is starting to turn a little bit nicer. We're having some cold days, and then next week is going to be our hottest temperatures of the year. We're supposed to get well into the 90s, and we're supposed to stay in the 90s for several days next week, which I'm not looking forward to. If any of you know me personally, you know I don't deal with the heat really well. So I'm just reading over this recipe. You preheat the oven to 425. With filling into a bottom crust dot with cover with cut. Bake as directed on 676, 55, 676. Okay, for fruit pie. Fresh berry pie. Bake pie 400 degrees. Okay, so we're gonna, 350. Okay, so after 15 minutes at 425, we're gonna turn the oven down to 350 and we're gonna bake it for almost an hour. So let's get started with the crust. And like I said, if you saw what a disaster my peach slices were, you'll know why I'm cheating a little bit. And it's perfectly okay to cheat on a pie crust and buy the ready-made pie crust. Fortunately, when my grandmother was alive, and the older people in my life, when they were all alive, none of them used store-bought. They all made it from scratch. But again, I'm not one of those people that has had good success with pie doughs. But we're gonna work on that, especially with the fall coming on. I've got to make apple slices. So I'm just gonna grab out my pie dough, and I'm gonna put you guys back where you guys were. You won't see me, but you'll see the plate. This time I don't have to do any work with this. It's all rolled out for me. They come in a package like this. Okay, this says 400. So maybe what we'll do is we'll turn the pie down to 400. And you want to, if you buy the pre-made pie doughs, you want to make sure you keep them chilled in the refrigerator. Don't bring them out ahead of time. You want the dough to be nice and cold. And sometimes it'll get cracks like this. I never worry about that. I just try to do the best I physically can. And this, you can see how much beautiful this pie is going to be, because I haven't screwed it up by trying to do it myself. So you just want to have it fit nicely into your pie plate. And you don't need to spray pie. And of course I don't have a fork. So let me go grab a fork. I was going to say I'm going to stop the video because I'm getting at 10 minutes. But then I forget when I edit them. They're going to be long anyway. So thank you for your patience and understanding. Same thing that you did with the peach slices, you're gonna do with this. And I'm gonna lift you guys up a little bit so you actually see my face. You're just gonna want to prick the bottom. And you might be wondering, if you're new to pies, why do you do this? Well, it allows steam to escape the bottom of your pie, and also will prevent your pie from trying to rise upwards. You don't want a pie, especially if you're using fruit, to rise up on you. So you just prick it all over, and I'm going to show you how that looks. And you just want to prick it like that. Hopefully you guys, I can't really angle you guys to see it, but you get an idea of how to fork it. You don't have to go all over the pie. Now the next thing is to add your filling. Now this time I decided not to put in the lemon juice, and I don't think it really matters because of how ripe these peaches ended up being. And I had just enough for this pie. And unfortunately, I had to throw about 4 peaches out because they were just really, really overripe. Now, I'm going to take you guys with me for a quick second. Now what you want to do is you want to get a knife and you want to get butter. And I should have done this ahead of time and didn't think of it when I grabbed the pie thing out. So, okay, so I'm going to slide this over. I'm going to take the butter. And you don't need to do a lot of butter. What I usually do is I just take one piece like this and I quarter it. And you just want to put the butter throughout your crust, and maybe do one more. I'll do one more and I'll cut that in half. And I'll show you what that looks like up close. That's just butter that'll melt in the pie, and that actually just makes the pie taste a little bit better. Nobody ever explained to me why you put butter in pies, especially if you've already put flour, but sometimes, you know, that absorbs some of the flour taste so that your pies don't taste like flour. Now, the only bad thing about some of these pre-made pie dough companies is trying to get into the package. Some of them don't like you to get in their package, and they make it practically impossible to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this one. Oh, and this one already is cracking really, really bad. But actually, that might be a benefit to this top crust because it's already got a nice slit in it, and I can do a decorative slit. So what you want to do is you just want to roll your top crust over, and you kind of want to just go around, and you want to crimp the bottom and the top together. So I'm just going to do that. It may not, like I said, none of my pie doughs actually look pretty. I think once in my lifetime at Thanksgiving, I was able to do a really nice pie that actually looked relatively good. And sometimes with the store-bought or pre-made pie doughs, it's harder to do this. So if you get a good chuckle out of me doing this, you'll know why. Pies are not my forte. So I'm just going to kind of make this look like a homemade pie. Okay, Okay, and you just kind of want to pinch it off. So that's what it's gonna look like. Now, what I always do is you always want to cut at least a slit or two in it, and you want to kind of be decorative. Let me wash my paring knife really fast. Dry this, and of course my Pomeranian is right underneath me, so I don't want to step on her. So I'm just gonna kind of make maybe a nice little slit over here. And you don't have to get too crazy with your slits. Usually 4 is sufficient. If you want to be a little bit decorative, you can put one in the middle. You just want enough so that the pie, if it bubbles up, has a way of escaping. Otherwise, you're going to have really bad pie. Now, this recipe does say to brush it with milk. Well, the last time I brushed the peach slices that I did with milk, the crust didn't really come out looking all that brown. So what I'm going to do this time is, instead of doing a milk wash, I'm going to do an egg wash on this. Now, you want to keep in mind, if you're doing this at home and you're making a pie and you have somebody that's allergic to eggs, you want to be mindful of them, and then don't do it because you don't want them not to be able to enjoy the pie. Sorry, you guys are in an awkward situation. For 1 second, I'm just going to reach in here and hopefully I can, of course, and I got the leg of lamb is sitting there. So, oh, this is 17 minutes. I'm going to stop the video for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, that was 1 quick second. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to break 1 egg. And you want to kind of... Unfortunately, you guys won't be able to see this. I'll try to angle it. So I've got my egg in here. I'm going to turn you guys over so you can see there's 1 egg in there. You just want to do like you're making a scrambled egg. Sorry, Shadow. And you just want to beat it. Now, can you add a little bit of milk to this? Sure you can. Okay, now that that's whipped a little bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my pastry brush, and I'm just going to dip the egg in. I'm just going to brush the top of the pie with the egg mixture. Now, you're not going to use the whole egg. I will tell you this much, so make sure you only use 1 egg. Unless you're doing like a really, really, really big, or you're doing a lot of pies. 1 egg should be more than enough. And this will just give your crust a nice golden brown. And you want to brush all of your pastry. And then what I usually do, and of course I don't, I'm going to use my hands because they are clean, is I just sprinkle a little bit of sugar on the top of the crust. You don't want to go too much with the sugar. You just want a sprinkling for that. And then you're going to put it in a preheated oven of 425 for the first 15 minutes. And then after 15 minutes, you're going to drop down the temperature to about 400, 350, 375, 400. It kind of depends on the directions that you're using for the pie. This says 350. On the box it says 400. But considering this is a pie in a round, I don't think it's gonna, it needs that hot of a thing because it's gonna cook for over an hour. So I'm going to put it in, and then in 15 minutes, I'm going to drop it down to 375. So I'll be back later once I pull it out of the oven, and I'll show you what the peach pie looks like. Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to the conclusion of the peach pie. I just literally pulled it out of the oven, and I'm going to kind of show you. It's still piping hot, and it's still bubbling in places. But I dropped the temperature of the oven from 425 after 15 minutes. I dropped it down to 375. And I let the pie go for 45 more minutes in there. So the total cooking time for the peach pie was 55 minutes. I would say at the 55 minute mark, check your pies to make sure that they're not burning. If they need to if you want them a little golden brown, increase the time just by a couple of minutes, and then keep periodically checking on it. Now, when you take it out, you want it to fully cool down before you even slice it. Don't try to slice a hot pie thinking, nice hot peach pie with some ice cream would be delicious. The pie actually needs time to absorb all of its juices. So it's very tempting to cut into it when it first comes out of the oven, but it actually needs the time to reabsorb its juices, so it's not such a runny pie. So give it at least 2 hours or longer before you cut into it. After the pie is completely cooled and you've taken however many servings you have, wrap it with a little saran wrap and a little aluminum foil on top. And it's very important to put saran wrap between the pie and the aluminum foil. Otherwise, what can happen with certain fruit pies is you get an aluminum taste from the aluminum foil. So, and you only want to do that once the pie is completely cool. And then store it in your refrigerator and enjoy it for a few days. Peach pie usually lasts a good 5, 6, 7 days in the refrigerator. Usually my pies don't last that long because we'll have pie every night from now till the pie is finished. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you tomorrow for the lamb, the leg of lamb. And I did get some of the new stuff from Amazon. I'm waiting for the camera to arrive tomorrow on the 17th. And I also am waiting for the tomato press, which will be here on Friday. So hopefully Saturday, Sunday, will be the films that I start filming with the new camcorder and the tomato sauce. And I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to actually see if getting a tomato press was the right way to go or not. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next Cooking with Joel video.